Man, that was a tough watch. Holy crap. We won, so that kind of is great. 2 in a row, it's always nice. But it's a game that it just felt like... The good thing was I felt like for pretty much most of the game, like between the arcs and kind of every contest, I thought we almost broke even, or we were better than the Suns. But again, it was just kind of awful delivery inside 50, awful chemistry between each individual forward, and execution, obviously the number one thing there that I thought was labouring quite a bit. We did get the chocolates, 3 points in the end. Max King, credit to him, clutch moment, really important. And although it was an easy kick in the end, it never is when there's that much pressure riding on it. So he kicked truly and got us the win. But it's hard to believe that a game under the roof, with especially Gold Coast, who have kicked a lot of goals this season, ended up being the way it did. I was incredibly impressed in that first quarter on how well structured around the ground we actually were. They did not know what to do. Like, watch the first quarter again. The Suns did not know how to transition. They didn't have the ability to hit the targets because we put them under enough pressure that we caused turnovers. And it should have been a 5-6 goal margin at quarter time, half time. Honestly, it should have been. Like, any team that's able to kick goals freely and, not make it look like it's literally some sort of surgery, like a painful surgery where you just can't watch. It's like that hard to watch. They'd be 6-7 goals up. If that was Brisbane, if that was Sydney, if that was Carlton under the roof, they'd be comfortable leaders. I mean, I'm impressed that we kept the Suns to 48 or whatever it was, but I'm not impressed that we only kicked 51. That's still a massive work in progress. And just chatting to Liam Henry in the rooms, he's obviously frustrated that there's that lack of sort of connect, that speed on the football, the overhandballing, and not trusting your teammates. That was kind of a keynote I took out of that, was you're not backing them in enough times. We always go for that extra handball because we don't trust ourselves or we don't trust our teammate. And I think we need to get back to trusting our teammates. There is some, as weird as it sounds, there is some improvement somewhere, but I'm not sure exactly what. I think it's more strategy. I think the players know their roles a bit better in the last 2 weeks and they've stuck to them. Like Dougal Howard went off. I thought we handled Ben King pretty well. Wilkie. I thought Josh Battle was absolutely amazing. One of the best players on the ground. I thought our smalls were good and lively. We got it in there a lot. They didn't intercept much. Obviously, Mac Andrew got a few marks and a few silly kicks straight to him. But for the majority of the game, in the first quarter in particular, we had deep entries. I think it took them 8 minutes to score, 8 or 9 minutes to get it inside 50 even. And we had peppered the goals probably 3 or 4 times in that process for maybe 1 goal, 1, I think it was. So, on the stats, you look at clearances, we won that. Contested ball, dominated that. Tag took Miller, did a great job, Windy again. Paddy Dow, Hunter Clark in the midfield, pretty solid. Roland Marshall around the ground, really good. Backline, stood tall. Forwards, shit. You look at everything that's inside that forward 50 arc, and it's the Bermuda Triangle. You don't know what you're going to get. It's hidden. It's blinding, And we just butcher so many chances that they could have iced the game, Liam Henry running through the middle of the ground. There's he goes for this dinky kick to Higo. There's just so many opportunities that we end up butchering that I'm just like, is that composure? Is that structure forward of the ball? Is it a bit of overhandballing and maybe laziness from the midfield? I think it's a bit of everything. There were so many instances in the first quarter and the second quarter where King made so many really good leads, and the ball was either over his head, 5 meters in front of him, so he had to half volley it, and then people would get upset that the half volley wasn't perfect. It shouldn't even be a half volley. It should be on his chest. Perfect kick. Under no pressure. He had Mac Andrew dead about 4 times in that first half. We didn't hit him once. And then we did hit him, and it was a 1-on-1. He was being held, and he kicked truly. And then in the last quarter, he got a free kick again. So he's getting the free kicks. Separate note, though, the holding the ball is ruined. I don't know what's going on. It used to be so clear-cut. You knew what it was going to be, when it was going to be. Now I'm really confused. I feel like we got the rough end of the stick on a few occasions there, where they just pinned them out of nowhere, and then the Suns can just spin 3 or 4 times and get the handball away, and it's perfectly fine. So really confusing there. So the AFL really can't leave it at that, because I think that's destroying the game. But aside from that, I think between outside of scoring, general play, I thought we were pretty okay. There were some decisions that were pretty average. I thought out of defense, we were a little bit more aggressive than usual. We moved the ball quicker, which is crazy to think. We moved the ball quicker, but we scored less. But we had more entries, you know? So all the numbers say, hey, Saints should win this pretty comfortably. But we didn't. But we won, and that's a good thing. But it's just a hard watch. Like, it's a very difficult watch. The only reason it's a good watch in the end is because we won. But if we lose that, there's a lot of question marks on, again, scoring ability and the brand, you know, just looking good, you know, because we won every key stat. So if we're losing every key stat, and you can use that to kind of lean on and say, hey, that's the way we played, because we were losing, we had to be defensive. But if you're winning the ball first, then you should be aggressive first, and you should be running first and taking the game on more than the opposition. And we didn't do that, despite having more possessions, more inside 50s, more clearances, more tackles, more everything, more scoring shots. So I can rip this game apart and say it was a piece of shit, but in the end we did win. And I think winning is just really important for the group. And there are some good habits creeping back in, like there are, but I still think the forward line is huge. And Robert Harvey's the forward line coach, so at some point, like, a little bit of heat needs to go on him. I just feel like there's a massive disconnect. I look at other teams, and the way their forwards are structured and the way they go about it is way simpler than us. I feel like a lot of players have so much to do. King's way too high up the ground when he should be deep, and then when he's deep, he should be high up the ground. It's just like the timing of the runs and the structure ahead of the ball is just not quite in sync. And that's the takeout from the game. His ball skills were atrocious at times, like basic 15, 20 meter kicks that would miss a target, handballs that were nowhere near it. But our pressure and our structure won us the game. It wasn't our skills, it was the pressure and structure and the back line and Josh Battle that won us the game. So as much as I am disappointed at the spectacle, I am glad we won, because we did deserve to win. It would have been, you know, Gold Coast snatching it in the end. It would have felt like the Essendon game, where we led all day and we let it slip, at least in this one. In the last 2 weeks, you know, we kind of, in the last quarter, played like we wanted to win, and in the end, we got the win. So a really ugly game, a really, you know, just a game that just doesn't sell AFL in any way. 18,000 people turned up. 18,000 people were left thinking, Jesus, that was a hard watch. But we won, we got the song in, and we go on to Brisbane on Friday night. So hard to, I don't know, it's just a hard game to analyse, to be honest. But yeah, leave your comments, Sainers. Those are mine. I'll have a Liam Henry interview up tomorrow. He played his 50th game tonight, so I had a chat with him after the game. And obviously 5 things we learned will be out tomorrow as well. So comment your thoughts. 2 wins in a row. Not really the most convincing wins, but wins nonetheless. You know, we've lost some close ones. It's actually good to win a close one. And the Suns are a team battling for the 8, and they've been in form. So it's not like we're playing a team at the bottom of the ladder. This is a team that has weapons all across the field, and on their day can really hurt you. And we held them to a very, very low score. I think their lowest score of the year. So, yeah, that was, I guess, a positive note. So thanks, Sainers. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, go Mighty Sainers. See you guys.